In this video, we're going to be focusing on the fourth social emotional learning skill in the 2020 Ontario Mathematics curriculum, build relationships and communicate effectively. And as you are moving into the add and subtract fractions topic, you will notice in the drop-down menu of cluster of expectations that it is highlighted for focus for this particular topic. So what do we mean by build relationships and communicate effectively? We mean students will develop the skills to work collaboratively on math problems, expressing their thinking, listening to the thinking of others, and practicing inclusivity. And in that way, fostering healthy relationships. So how do you go about doing that in your classroom? Well, the best way of doing it is to explicitly model, discuss, and provide feedback on accountable talk, active listening, and building on and challenging the ideas of others. And not only modeling that and providing feedback, but also having the students reflect on their ability to have accountable talk, active listening, and building on and challenging the ideas of others. In the Waterloo Region District School Board long range plans, in the building community section for the first 2 weeks of school, it was highlighted a few times around building relationship and communicating effectively. And what we want to try and remember is that even though we've spent time on doing that in the first month of school, we need to continue to come back and revisit that. It's just not a one-off. It's something that we need to continuously embed into the math learning. So if you didn't have an opportunity to take some time to use those activities, please feel free to return to the building community section of the long range plans and take a look at some of those tasks in there. It involves some success criteria and some talking points that you can use with your students. From those types of tasks, you should collaboratively create with your students some sort of an anchor chart that can be referenced throughout the school year on what it looks like, sounds like, and feels like to be working and building relationships and communicating with peers and teachers. It's also beneficial to have some sentence stems or math prompts to help students articulate when they're trying to communicate. And one thing that we know is students really struggle. The higher the grade they go, the more they struggle with this idea of asking for clarification when they're not understanding something. And we know that is a big issue in our intermediate grades and on into secondary. So taking time to just practice with students and modeling for yourself, um, some ways that you can ask for clarification when something is unclear to peers, to teachers, to parents, to whomever in their life they could ask for some clarification from. We also want students to debate in math, and we want them to challenge the ideas of others, but we want them to do that respectfully. So taking some time to practice and provide them with sentence stems on how to respectfully challenge somebody's thinking really benefits them and really causes some rich discourse in your math class. A great way to return to those norms that you've built, those anchor charts, is what's called a participation quiz. And this comes from Dr. Joe Bowler. And basically, what you're going to do is at the beginning of a class, beginning of maybe a learning through problem solving or a collaborative task that you're going to have students working on, you would maybe just write on the board or have listed somewhere, these are the things that I'm going to be looking for today. And you're going to pull them right off of the anchor chart that has been created. And then as the class works away on a problem, you're going to be noticing things and you're going to be keeping track of things. And in the end, you might publicize these, you might be private to the groups, but you would give them a score on how they did on the participation pieces that you were looking at. And the greatest thing that you can do is to actually write down quotes that you hear each group say. And then to get into that, so this is providing them some feedback on how they're doing. And then to get them into the practice of reflecting on their own, as a group, they could look at their score and they could talk about what did we do really well based on the anchor chart or based on the things you were looking for during this class. And what do you think that we could improve on? Or you could have them self-reflect. So journal, exit ticket, based on the things I was looking at in this class, how do you feel you did? Where do you think some areas of improvement might be for you? So our strategy harvest here, how we can help students build the skill of building relationships and communicating effectively is routinely reflect with students on classroom norms that were co-created at the beginning of the year. Continue to honor different approaches to problem solving situations, identifying feelings and thoughts of others who adopt these strategies. Tell stories about famous mathematicians who showed respect for each other within the discipline, especially those mathematicians that maybe didn't agree on something, and let them know that this is part of what mathematics is. Utilize math tasks that promote collaborative problem solving. Routinely provide students with opportunities to reflect how they feel in different situations, especially after solving challenging or multi step problems. Consistently model respect and enthusiasm for learning about diversity. So seek out and show enthusiasm for stories about mathematicians and other professionals who use math from many different cultures. Show enthusiasm for learning about different cultures. Give feedback to students in authentic ways when they are respectful towards others. So encourage students to identify how they feel when they were respectful or supportive of another person, or when others are respectful or supportive of them. Teach lessons on how to ask a peer or teacher for help. Brainstorm with students the most effective ways to request help. And give students authentic feedback anytime they work well with others. Thank students whenever they listen well and tell them specifically what they did well. Give students authentic feedback for resolving conflicts peacefully. And that is it for our video today. Stay tuned. Another social emotional learning video clip will be coming up in the next few weeks.